Selamat Betzot. Welcome to YPFDJ 16th conference in alignment with the theme Pan-Africanism and Purposeful Leadership. We have conducted a lot of activities today, especially from the Hidri side, since Anand Betzote are from the Hidri Central Organizing Committee for this year, Europa Maletyu. And today we're just going to discuss about our passions, about project in Eritrea that we would like to do in the future, together with our professions. So I'd say welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
Bitsaiti Abziazella, Diana, you will introduce yourself.
Thank you, Bitsaiti Yorkabel. So my name is Diana Fetui, Kab Shwadania Maletyu. I'm 26 years old, and together with Mahazate Misbitsote, we have been planning for the Hidri Maletyu for this conference. When I studied social work and Hidri Master's with the in leadership and organization within HR Maletyu and labor law. And that's me, Kabshwaden. Yeah, as I said, from Uppsala. And yeah. Kalal.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Liham Dawit. I am from Los Angeles, California in the U.S., and I'm 21 years old. I was helping them out with the Hidri committee and whatnot. I just graduated with my bachelor's last year in public health, and I will be pursuing my master's in the fall. But yeah.
Hi, my name is Reem Malakat Sakai. I'm from Ottawa, Canada. Gin Hidri بعد إنجليزي London. Okay, so my undergraduate studies for school so for my undergraduate studies, I did them at Carleton University in Ottawa. I studied public affairs and policy management with a specialization in international policy, focusing on just foreign affairs and conflict and things like that. In Hidri, I'm in London to study for my master's at LSE, and I'm studying international social and public policy with a specialization in development. Yeah, that's my educational background.
Thank you. And also for today, we conducted a presentation with Bitzai Hizbawi Mengistab, yeah, from PFDJ Economic Affairs. He presented us with the great opportunities and kind of just laid the foundation of the opportunities that are in Eritrea for the diaspora to engage in development programs or projects. So I know that we amongst each other discussed a little bit of what we've done before. So I want to get into that first, and then maybe we can just discuss a little bit of our future plans and future aspirations to contribute to development in Eritrea. So,
Thank you. So, as I said, come to Zabelku, I studied social work as my bachelor's. My aim with that was basically to see what can I do with the social work in Eritrea. So what I used to do back in 2012, I used to go to Hamamatae and Basmara Maletyu, the youth center, and I would go with Ms. Hatene and just really help them out with whatever they needed help with. So it was registration for Sawa, it was a lot of administration work in general, and Komunda Belku, I started to gain contacts, I started to get in touch with people, both within the youth center as the staff, but also other youth from different sides of the world, Maletyu. And I also met Abukin Abunet out for the first time, and then every summer, 2014, I went back. 2016, I went back, and as the years went, I graduated Maletyu in social work, and then I was like, I think I can do something with this. And I wasn't done with school. I really wanted to do my master's, which was in leadership, and somehow I feel like I want to combine my studies in doing something in Eritrea. As we continue to develop the country, I feel like as young people, we can contribute with a lot and bring out the best of Eritrea. We have a lot of resources in Eritrea. We have a lot of resources in the diaspora. And I mean, I can do as much, of course, and I can't wait to get into it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm still a bit new to YPFDJ. I am only 21, and so I started YPFDJ in 2019. I was in Hidri before, then 2019 is when I really began. And since then, it's really just been on Zoom and calls like that due to COVID. Me and my Bitzot Cub America, we did start something called Zoom, where we did weekly calls for Eritrean youth in America to basically get them to understand about new topics such as careers, even as small as doing like simple yoga. And so we did that for a majority of the time for COVID, really. And now I'm doing a master's in healthcare administration, which I hope to use in Eritrea to open a clinic and hopefully improve on that in the healthcare administration side of things in Eritrea.
Okay. So yeah, in relation to the presentation that you brought up, Yokavel, so it was a very great presentation given by Hizbawi about all aspects of development, the historical processes behind it, why things are the way they are in Eritrea, what is the future for Eritrea, and I guess how that ties into my education is with a policy background in my undergraduate studies, I was very interested in nation building, how states recovered after wars, after international interventions, after even all different things that happen in this world of ours. And yeah, so for my thesis, I focused on the sacrifice and martyrdom aspect of the armed struggle to better understand the nation building plan that Higdef hasn't planned back home today. And I want to continue to explore that in my master's thesis, and I'm hoping to kind of just like put a new spin to it, but really focus on self-reliance and how Eritrea has stuck to what they have outlined in the PFDJ National Charter, and kind of look at how Eritrea has maintained their commitment to self-reliance in a globalized world and with everything that Eritrea does experience on the global field. So that's how my education background kind of ties into like the Hizbawi presentation.
What you've done before in Eritrea. You've had
Okay.
experience working in Eritrea.
My background. Okay. زمتك أي حراي ما تنصحني كذاكم يا. Okay, Hidri Ottawa. Shout out to Hidri Ottawa. I love you guys with all my heart. So that's a shout out to you guys. So Hidri Ottawa. Me and my brother Natnael Hawe. بحنسب جميعنا يوك أدمش. I think she just عملت Hidri but إحنا. Yeah. So I don't know. I went on a trip to an indigenous community in northern Quebec. I saw like just the life that they were living in terms of just their day-to-day life, just their experience with the education system, the healthcare system, how it had an effect on their mental health, the suicide rates there. And honestly, with the identity and the culture they had, I had a lot of internal reflection that was going on. And I said, okay, with all the rich culture and the identity that we have been blessed with and privileged with as Eritreans, I can tell you, like, what's holding us back? Like, why can't I go back to my community and do something to just harbor that and foster that? So that's how Hidri came about, and I brought it to Natnael, and Natnael was very supportive. The community was very supportive. We started with 10 kids, and I think now we're to a good solid 15, I think. And yeah, so like we've our biggest project, and I think the biggest pride for our kids is the Masker Dandan project. So it's a long story, so I'll keep it short, but it was introduced by another Bits 80 Aida when we were back home. Shout out to Bits 80 Aida. Shweden, I think, right? Okay. She just introduced the project to us, and myself and my friend Dina Ephraim, we started teaching there. Shout out to Dina Ephraim. We started teaching there that summer in 2018 in Isak at Ilato the next summer, and I was very proud of her to do that. And that's what we've continued fundraising for. So Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners, Kamzigwaila events and stuff like that. All the money goes towards like educational resources and materials that we buy for them. On a personal level, in terms of like my contributions back home, it's not a lot, but I hope to do more in the future. But yeah, 2018 I worked with Zobama Akal Hamata. I feel like that's such a shared experience along amongst a lot of YPFDJ Bitsotna. So we all did the SAL registration. We all did the Zurna Hagarka, helping with registration with all that. So I think that was a lot of our foundations. But also Nahamata Abasmara, Dahlak and Daniel, and Hermon. You guys know who you are. Salah Khumyu, like so many people, Malisom, Adam, Malisom, and they actually came back for the experiences. So I do want to give them their flowers in terms of that, because it's crazy. Like experiences of Hamata span over like how many years back, and I think that really speaks to their dedication, how accommodating and understanding they've been with everyone. So yeah, Salom, like everything has been very smooth. So then when I returned in 2019, I worked at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Shout out to Sanu at Ministry of Foreign Affairs, a very beautiful soul. And yeah, that was a good experience. I went in thinking I was gonna apply what I learned in undergraduate studies. No. They taught me more. So it was a humbling experience. It was a very fulfilling experience, and I'm very blessed and privileged to have had that experience. And God willing, I really hope after my master's I get the chance to go and complete my service, especially my military service. And please, please. So I really hope to just pay off my loans, gain the experience that I need with like the policy background, because I have been in school for the majority of my life, and I hope to go back home and work and raise my family there. So, yeah, issue I must say, guys.
So thank you guys. And now we kind of know you guys a bit better. So both your professions and what you've done before, and a little bit, you touched a little bit on the question I wanted to ask now, but I guess that's good. So I know that you kind of, sort of know what you want to do when it comes to development in Eritrea and in your profession. So I want you to touch a little bit on that, but also after the presentation of Hizbawi, I think it put a lot of things into more perspective. Like we kind of had desires and aspirations towards maybe one thing, but just him laying it out a bit more. I would like to hear kind of how you would like to develop Eritrea. Like, what are your visions? And yeah, especially after today.
Interesting. So the presentation of Hizbawi was very interesting. It was very easy to understand. Very much. I think you kind of have a vision, like like a brief vision of what you want to do, but it's hard to know how to put it like in proper context of Eritrea. And I think after Hizbawi's presentation, I got like a more clear picture of how it's been looking from like the 60s up until 2016 and Hidri, like how it is today. So that gave me a little bit of a more of an understanding in what we can do. That was within mining. So for me, with social work and human resources and labor law, I think that's subjects that could be put in wherever you are in the world. And with Adna, I think we can do a lot, like social work wise. It affects youths of any age. It affects parents, single moms, disabled people. Labor law, it touches on people going into work. What can they expect going into work? What can they tell their bosses? Also labor law basically. And how do we how should we apply it compared to how we do it in the West? And I think after have listened to both Hizbawi and the rest of the But'al and all of that, I think it could work having like a discussion and come to like some kind of understanding with them. And I mean, my goal is to implement the sort of social work more, because I think now we have a lot of doctors, which is amazing. Doctors, engineers, marine biologists, lawyers. I think we can expand it even more and touch upon the things that we need and that hasn't been touched upon yet. So yeah, YPFDJ has helped me a lot in giving me a better vision and more clarity in how I want to do it in the future, Maletiu. And I have gotten a lot of contacts here also, both from Europe, but from Kala Addetat also, both Africa and North America. So I think that was the answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So, Hizbawi definitely, like, he went into the healthcare atmosphere a lot more, I feel like. He brought up a lot of statistics based on where we were in 91 when we gained independence versus more recently. And so I kind of want to touch up on that. I want to figure out how they were able to make it better in their way, because I know it's not like the typical way that, you know, on the Western side does it. And so I want to basically see how pretty much, and I want to learn from them, right? So I want to learn how they were able to get it from that point where they were at to how they are now, and how we can improve it better, and how I can use my skills that I'm learning out here in my master's program to better that as well. And so, yeah, and like you said, like YPFDJ gives you so many different resources, connections, networking to basically make that happen. I wouldn't, even without YPFDJ, I wouldn't be able to volunteer. I wouldn't be able to even be the opportunity to even volunteer. And so I'm really grateful for YPFDJ, Hizbawi, for giving that presentation and everything like that.
Very good. I don't know, it's such a big question. Honestly,
Reem, I saw that you were writing a lot.
yeah.
She had like 3 pages. She was like, and she was writing so fast. I was like,
Yeah.
you're gonna send me those notes later
Yeah,
because you were writing a lot.
Because and that's why, like, I said, like, I want to get the presentation from him, even if Betigrin صحيفك أسيلا. But I don't know, just like you like being in YPFDJ and being in Hidri, like sometimes we know the knowledge, but sometimes being reminded, and especially everything being put in the historical context, I think is always important. It's good to always go back to that, go back to our roots, to really just genuinely understand why things are the way they are and why Eritrea sticks to the development plans they have. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about it. I like how human-orientated and how needs-based our approach is to development. And I think then my answer to the question is anything that has to do with Hagrawi Lam'at, like nation building, development, anything. Wherever Eritrea needs me, I'm speaking to them, Haji. Wherever they need me, I'll go. My like educational background, if it's health development, if it's education, even though like my passion is more garnered towards the development aspect, like the policy and the research. And also the education. I do have a big passion for education and mentoring and things like that. I'd be really happy to learn from anything that Eritrea has like existing today. And I think that's the important thing. I think it's good for YPFDJ members and people to dream of like, oh, what can I bring to Eritrea? Again, I think sometimes we need to remember like they already have so many things in place. Like Loma Auntie, when we did the Shark Tank development style project storming, a kid said, the group said mobile vans and the getting the water from the sea and everything. And those things have already existed or continue to be a thing in Eritrea. So it just shows you like everything Eritrea is because of its people and the way they think. So the fact that the kids in the diaspora think the same way, it brings you hope. But I really do hope people challenge themselves in thinking like, what skills can I bring and what new things can I bring to Eritrea, and also recognize like Eritrea's got it down pat too. Like we are where we need to be right now. It just needs like highly sub, like Tsanatna, and I am Lahagas. Yeah, so I guess this is what you want to say to the question.
Yes. So just explaining a little bit of the background. So after the presentation, we kind of gave them a little quick workshop on how to create a project, like going from an idea to actually developing the idea and then sticking to specific types of criteria. So we have sustainability, it has to employ locals, it have to be equitable. And it was one more thing. Economic perspective, and it also has to be a national development goal. So we gave them a little bit of time, I would say, for them to go into groups. So we divided them into the health sector, we had the tech, the business sector, we had the culture sector, we had the social work sector, And then what more?
Political and law.
And the politics, law, and policy and stuff like that. And then afterward, we kind of had like a Shark Tank presentation where they presented their projects and how just outlining what they have planned together with the if they had time to actually do a budget to make this workshop in the session super realistic. And I can genuinely say that I was so happy, and it was so giving, and it was like, because I think when you're younger in age, you kind of don't understand the Hidri program a lot. You're like, why are we learning a lot about the history? Why are we learning about a lot about the past? Why are we learning like the situation now? Like, I think it's super important, especially when you work with younger participants. You constantly have to put it into context for them to follow. And I think today was like a day where it really came into context. So having the historical lessons yesterday, having Rahel and Simon coming and talking about misinformation and how Eritrea has been demonized in media and in the international community, to then later come and have his Bawi talk about the economic development, that Eritrea actually was one of the countries that reached the development goals quite quickly, and those are not things that Hidri learns about in school, in the media, and yeah, I mean, it was so giving, and them just taking the initiative and being passionate about the projects, which we also divided them according to what they like, their interest. It was extremely giving. So yeah, it was a really good day, and I also want to discuss a little bit about IDS. Because I think IDS is so important, and I think we can kind of end this day with IDS. So IDS stands for Identity, Awareness, Success, and Service. So it's a model that YPFDJ works from, designs its program from, or according to. And it's about knowing your identity, to be aware of your position in the world, both in the country that you're residing in, but also in Eritrea. And we believe that knowing your identity and being aware of your position leads to greater success, right? And that success will kind of like stimulate the will to actually go back and serve your roots, serve where you came from. So I just want to know a little bit about how YPFDJ have contributed to that according to the IDS model. So I'll start with you, and I'll actually add to that later.
That's actually such a great logo that we have, ideas. But for me specifically, it's the identity part. I know, like, from the country where you were born and where you're from, some people, they attach to that country and that identity really easily. So for my part, it would be the Swedish side, Maletu. And some people, they feel very left out from the Swedish part, Maletu. So I think for me, I've always felt like, I'm not Swedish enough, but I'm not also Eritrean enough. Wherever I go, I'm still the outsider. Mush, I think a lot of youths feel that way. So with YPFDJ, when I came, I knew I had a strong, I knew about Eritrea and Mininet, what that means. But I feel after like the first conference I went to, back in UK 2013, Komotat, I have never felt more proud to be Eritrean. Especially like the range of people, the age range, it's everyone from like, I was 18 up till I don't know how old, like Yamanaga Abrab. So it's a lot of people, and it's people with a lot of like experiences back from the war up until now. I have never felt so proud after that, and then going back home strengthened my identity in knowing that wherever I go, I will always have my Eritreanet Maletu. And I don't know, I'm very happy to be Eritrean. Wherever I go, I represent Eritrea, and I know that, and I can say it with my chest up high. With my chest.
With your chest.
And it's right now, at this point today, I'm 26. I even can be with my friends that are non-Eritrean and Eritrean. I implement Tigrinya with them, as I talk with them bit Tigrinya. So every conversation I have with them, it starts with Mahazai, Keme, Dahando, every time, and they know how proud I am, and they appreciate me for that because they admire how proud I am of my identity, and for my people and for my country and the resilience that we have. And yeah, I'm just really happy to be Eritrean. I think Naiba Haki. I'm blessed to be Eritrean, and I think what also YPFDJ helped me with is realizing that you don't have to do a lot to help. You can do a little thing, and it will be enough. Like a small step is better than no step. And I think with Hidri today, especially with the Shark Tank thing that we had, made him realize like, okay, I have an interest in this topic, let's say the business part or the technology part. My idea is not that bad actually. What do I need to do in order to make that happen in real life? And I think seeing them being so excited and so happy about it made me even more excited. Like Yuki said, so yeah. Today was a good day.
It was a blessed day.
I've never been this proud to be Eritrean and never been this proud about Hidri of Europa and the diaspora in general.
I can kind of touch on that. So I joined, my first conference was 2017 in Holland. I was 17 at that time. Was my first conference, and it didn't go as planned. It did not go as planned. And I kind of thought that it would kind of scare me away, but it kind of had the opposite effect. At that time, I was studying music in high school, so I studied the music program. And after that conference, I kind of felt like, okay, I know what I need to do. I know kind of what I want to be. And after that, I went to study political science in university. And I think that the conferences after that kind of just assured me that, okay, I really feel like I can work to like politically with Eritrea, but in a more international way. So just that accident kind of drove me to a direction where I was like, okay, I had Eritrea in the back of my mind all the time. So what do I like to do? I like politics. I like to defend my country. I like to speak up for my identity. I like to be in political debates, especially when it comes to Africa and, Pan-Africanism, in connections to Eritrea and our history. And so that kind of drove me to my education as well at a young age. And I think that IDS also creates the space for the development of talents within Hidri. So basically what it does, and when you have these Hidri programs, like for example, today we're like, okay, what do you like to do? And they're like, I think I like health. Okay, try it out. Create a health project. And then you never know if that's actually, they kind of found their passion in some way. It doesn't have to be super serious like that, but more just creating a space where they can develop their talents or just exploring. And I think also that's what IDS is about, It's not only about, okay, your identity, you're aware now. Like, it's not just about that. It's actually just, the individual person, progressing, like you said, like you never felt more proud to be Eritrean. That came from somewhere. Like, that's a personal progress for you. So I definitely say that the IDS model in general and personally is an excellent model for YPFDJ to create a foundation on. And especially for us, like the Hidri Committee, when we also design the programs, that's where our starting point is. And I think all of us can say something positive about that and where it's taken us in life. So super inspiring, I would say.
Okay, yeah, so just to go based off of what they said, I do think identity would probably be like the main thing that I would take out of that as well. It's really inspired me and motivated me to do more in the community, not only like through YPFDJ, but even back home in Los Angeles, to get to know more Eritreans and get to know basically where you come from, and it's also motivated me to even like open up my shop, my brand, Shop Awet, and like cater more towards Eritrean youth who don't really have, like the representation that they want. I want them to want to represent basically who they are in a way that they can do it. That's not the traditional way. And so that's really like that, being in YPFDJ and being able to really learn about my identity has helped me in doing that, as well as coming all the way from America to come to Europe for conference. I would never like think that I would be able to make it out here. But I'm so glad that I was able to meet even more Eritreans than even America. So yeah, it's really helped me out for sure.
Thank you. I've been actively listening, but in the back of my head, I'm like, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna say? Just because I think if I'm sticking with my truth and my experience, like I have to give my my first shout out to my parents, my family, who like solidified my identity and like everything that the ideas framework stands for. I always tell this story because I genuinely like remember it from a young age. My mom looked me in my eyes and said like, "You are not Canadian, like Eritrea, like kabafki, I am Canadian, like you don't that's not gonna come out of your mouth, like you were born from Eritrean parents, you come from Eritrean people, like you need to like so I think Salah de Salah Sidrai, like I can't everyone always asks like Reem like where does this come from? Where does this come from? Like my parents, my family, like it honestly comes down to that. And I think that's the same with all of you guys. Like I think it's because of the continuous storytelling, the continuous encouragement and everything. Like if it wasn't for our parents that continuously encouraged us and supported us, I don't think we would even segueing to Hidri and YPFDJ, yes. We wouldn't be in those places because there were places to be driven to, but places that they've advocated for us in spaces, and they've advertised for our events and things when we've been super stressed, like trying to run things. So yeah. We love you guys.
Shout out to y'all.
Miss Livana. So yeah, that's the first thing I wanted to say. And I think the second, before even Hidri and YPFDJ came about, because my first one was like 2016 in Washington. And yeah, so my parents gave me a good foundation, but I would have to say it was my Sidra Beit back home and the neighborhood. I always visit back home. And just Hizbi Eritrea Haq Zara, because like, when I say the Eritrean identity, I get emotional, but like, the Eritrean identity, like when I was waking up for matos with kids that were in like 7th to 11th grade, and we were going to go dig up like what's it called? Is the fihirna? Like we were doing the tree project, little things like that. Like we were doing. They were playing the security with their blue jumpsuits. They're like, oh, Rimgin Kulasa, they make fun of us. I'm like, you guys have nothing to be. They're like, because it's a running joke. Like look at the Hamata kids in the blue jumpsuits. But it's just, it was so innocent. And the fact that from a young age it's in the curriculum, it's in the, like service and identity and awareness that Nekha is embedded into the Eritrean curriculum. It's not even a choice for them. Again, through everything, they are able to build their identity. And again, for us in the diaspora, we also have to give ourselves kudos because it's not a choice for us. So the fact that we've actively seeked it and went for it is really important. But I do have to give my entire focus to like Hizbi Eritrea and the experiences I have had with the youth back home, because if it wasn't for their encouragement, if it wasn't for their friendship and their continuous just like, we see what you're doing. I just want to make this very clear. What we do out here is nothing close to what the Ministry of Eritrea do. Nothing close. And every time I go back home, I'm like, I see you. And I want you guys to make sure, like, we see you. And the fact that, like, people as young as us are defending Eritrea today, and are currently have Eritrea standing up, I think it makes us proud to be in organizations like YPFDJ and Hidri, and that's what keeps us going and to have dreams like we do with development. But I would say, like, when it comes to identity, for whoever's listening, hopefully if there's anyone to say, be proud, because so many sacrifices like we really wouldn't be here. And I know like they're like, oh, our parents always say that gala gala gala. I'm like, they say it because it's the truth. Like bahak, like we wouldn't be here without our martyrs. Like you wouldn't be able to say Ana yuqabal Eritrea or Ana, like, and that's a crazy thought to think, but like it is the truth, and it's not something to be taken for granted even after 31 years of independence, and not something to be taken lightly at 50 years. Ab Hamsa amatna rakhabana hizb Eritrea. Again, I really just wanted to highlight that because I think in the past interviews that I've done, I've always regretted like not saying, but like yeah, hizb Eritrea bahaki, like they embody everything that ideas is. We're just trying to get a
percentage of the ideas.
Of it.
Yeah,
And it weighs on us because we realize like we're not. Hey, alhamdulillah, like we recognize that. So yeah, I just wanna. Ms. Moulay, I just want to, and from behalf of all of us, because I know you girls share the same sentiment, Hizbi Eritrea, for everyone in national service, in the Eritrean Defense Forces, our hearts are with you. We thank you, and salakhum, salah, tsana'atkum, and because of everything, you are, Eritrea is. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, I want to end this on a very, very good note. And I want to talk about, because you said, the friendship in Eritrea, you could see, B'tzainet, like in its purest form. Yes. And I kind of found it here. I found it in YPFDJ. Going back to Eritrea, seeing how they treat each other, like just friends, family. B'tzainet, you kind of, it's very rare. It's a very rare and like personal, kind of you can't put it into word feeling. So yeah, I would just like to ask, when it comes to B'tzainet, when it comes to YPFDJ, what are the best experience that you have gone when it comes to that?
That's such a big question. Oh my God, I have to go back in the archive, Hidri. No, but the most important thing I think for me is the amount of friends and like personal private relations that I have gotten with YPFDJ. Like for instance, like I met you through like our group chat with all of the YPFDJ members that we have in common. I think we got better friends within YPFDJ. You and I started out within YPFDJ. A lot of my closest friends that are spread out in Europe, I met them through YPFDJ. In Eritrea, I met some of them in Hamamata when I was a little kid. And I have to give a big shout out to Hatane. Shout out Lua. I know you're gonna see this. But yeah, the greatest memory, I think 2018 in Sweden, when we hosted it after the whole Holland situation. We were really concerned if we were gonna make it, but then we were also really excited, like we have to show Holland and the rest of the world that we can actually make this work.
In
like
3 months.
Within 3 months, like half of the time. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, basically. We had that mentality, and that conference, I think, was one of the greatest ones I've ever been to. And like in my Stockholm. And I remember, because you were with me, we stood out at the closing ceremony when all of the parents and the Abu Tata, the Tat came. They were coming in and dancing and holding all the itcha and all of that. And I don't remember who it was, but I remember just going, this is so nice. I feel like home. And I had Yuki with me, and I was like, my friend is here. I see my dad there, all of the other Abu Tat that I grew up with, from the whole of Sweden. That was really, I was like,
really beautiful.
All of the work that we did paid off, and then you see it. And that made me realize, like, this, I have never been happier to be who I am. And I rep Eritrea wherever I go, every day, every night, every place. And as you said, Dream, that's Bisinki, also Mama, Papa, like Abu Tatna, Adi Tatna. So, Naiba Haki, thank you for not giving up on us. And Kemzi, you've been very patient and be like, okay, Dahan, just go to this, not in a party, or just let's go to this meeting just to try it out.
And look where it got you.
And look where it got me. Oh, wow. Naiba Haiki. Hopefully we will come to North America for one conference. The sync is the COVID when it's gone fully. But I think that was the best memory that I can remember now. Yeah, and I can't wait for more memories, obviously, and going back home to meet my fellow Eritrean people, obviously, and to learn from them, of course. And yeah, I mean, because of you guys, we can, as our very good friend Mahari says all the time. And yeah, that's a good closure.
Oh, I almost cried. Yeah. Why?
Yeah, just to go based off of what Deanna said, I definitely think that the biggest thing that YPFDJ has really given me is the relationships I've made. Like Deanna was saying, I've met her like last year, even before during COVID, through YPFDJ. And to imagine like coming all the way from America, meeting all these people from Europe, like it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for YPFDJ. And like even coming to these type of conferences and like going to festivals, I always get emotional. Even seeing like the simple act of people like just clapping for somebody going up on stage and doing it in like the rhythmic way. It just shows like the fact that we're like so different from others, and it's like it makes me even more proud to be unique like that. But yeah, I don't even know what I would say would be my best memory. I do enjoy like a lot of the conferences I've been to. Even like last year we did like the group chat that me and Deanna are in. We did a reunion last year, and that was probably like one of the most fun like weeks of my life, if I'm being honest. And like I said, it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for YPFDJ. And so yeah, I'm just forever grateful to be even continuing to do this. Yeah, and hopefully it'll continue on for many more years.
Amen. Amen.
Amr Anna, Abdik. Everything. I hope.
Abdak.
I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, no, hopefully we do have that blessing and privilege. On a Hidri level, I really don't want to get emotional, but like, to like going from.
It's fine.
I can't.
This is how much Eritrea means to you, and the Hidri and the like the passion you have.
Yeah, okay. On a Hidri level, these are kids, like, their parents... Oh my god. It's other things. Yeah, it's my body fighting me. We're
almost done.
Oh, this one. Okay, yeah, having the Hidri kids there to mentor and to form this group, I have to thank them because they honestly could have just put their foot down and said like, no, I want my Saturdays for myself. So their parents are the ones that helped raise me. They're the ones that babysitted me, that to this day like supported me. Yeah, so seeing them from just what their parents meant to me, and that Dukomium, it surpassed that level because now they're my Hidri, they're our Hidri, like we're all in this together. And the fact that they took that step and we went from just being family friends or from seeing each other just or something, to share that experience in Hidri, and to getting texts at work saying like, Reem, I got a 90% on that test you told me to do that. Or like small things like I got into this school because like little things like the way they share their victories or their wins or even their lows when I did homework check-ins with them. It's just a beautiful thing, and all I can say is like tamaskan amlah, because like it really is a privilege to be in that position of mentorship and to have had it for so long, and I do miss them. But yeah, on a Hidri level, I do truly feel blessed because the Bitsainet and just the amount of love and everything that they've taught me, undescribable. on a YPFDJ level, the only thing that comes up is experience in like conference Garifkum. I have to say, like, meeting Fiona Tesfaye, of course, because she's my current flatmate and what's made my current move to Ad English, because even though I'm Canada تعبية hijab Ad English اللغة تمرتي, and these past 7 months, oh my, let alone moving to a new country, but immediately starting something as intensive as like a master's program, it would have not been possible for Fiona. For someone who just messaged my brother in 2019 saying, was your sister going to Adi? And then happening to bump into each other on Ma'ati Ba'anat the day she flew in. And then Kabuja Mirka, just a simple friendship. And then me calling her up last April, I'm like, Na'adi Keida Luhugin, like, I need to move to London, I can't find a place. And she's like, oh, I'm moving out. I'm thinking of moving out too. And yeah, shout out to Fiona, because ba'ala kullu gerato. And I remember the day I was walking a Gorna Harane or up past immigration, and she's like, Rim, like Rahibe, like I found a flat, and I said, like, sign it. And then Salah, like, yeah, these 7 months have been a lot of personal growth, a lot of nikhat sessions in our living room, and a beautiful friendship because of YPFDJ, and touching on the conferences, my first European conference, yours too, right? Yeah. You guys are beautiful people. Like, bahaki, like, I don't know, like, not to take anything away from North America, but like Europe, yeah. Oh. And yeah. So, so yeah, Europe, you guys have, I don't know how to put it into words, because like we don't know each other. Like if someone said like like what does she do for work? Like because of the development talks and things like that. But it just shows you the beauty of like, I don't need to know your favorite color or ma'asu, like when's your birthday or something, to truly know you as a person, because we share the masrat of like our how we feel about Eritrea, like our nakhat, our hagarawitness. So like I'm so thankful for that. Also giving it to you guys and everyone else I've met here at the conference. You guys are genuinely all very beautiful energies. Y'all could we could have not meshed or whatever, God knows what, but like bahaki, like it's all been easy sailing. So تمسكن أمنا نهزباوي جنبار نهجدف يغني الناس اللهم كمزي. These organizations like YPFDJ and Hidri exist, so they saw a vision or a continuation of the vision. Hopefully بدك أنا and etc. I hope it continues, because there is power and beauty in the movement that we are a part of. So yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Wow.
Yeah.
Almost cried here.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think we covered a lot of things. Not only what happened today, but just generally about what you guys have done in Eritrea, your professions, your desires. And yeah, the eye is not bigger than the cost. And I think we can take that from all the conferences, right? Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, so thank you for the session. It's been a long day. And thank you. No, but really, and I hope that, you know, having these discussions and sharing memories and sharing our passions. I mean, even though we all may be doing different things, we definitely could do one project that would touch on all of the things, you know? So it's not just about connecting with people exactly like you, in the sense of like profession or their desires. Like when we come together, like magic happens. And that's really what we want Hidri to take from this year's program. So I guess I'll say on behalf of me and my Hidri Central Organizing Committee for Europe and fellow Bitzot, thank you. Yes, thank you.